Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the market recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Monday, July 19th. I hope you guys all had a great day. Looks like Tanya's had herself a wonderful one, which I'm really excited to see for you. Interesting day, right? We saw a couple markets close back to settlement price and then just kind of float. We saw big breaks in the overnight session that continued during regular trading hours. And you see the big rally when you look at the treasuries, right? Why is that rallying? Well, we all know exactly why. Yields are dipping, sending treasuries higher. COVID is on the move right now. There's concerns of major resurgence here in the United States and around the world. So something we are going to need to keep an eye on. Economically, can we handle another shutdown? Can we really sustain through that? It's definitely something to be thinking about if we do get to that point where these COVID cases continue to surge and we have to get to that point of shutdowns once again. So something to be prepared about, something to be thinking about, something to keep our eyes on. So we've got that going on. You've got oil dipping as OPEC and all of them right now are trying to get back to the numbers that we were at prior to COVID happening. So you got crude oil breaking. Gosh, we're down almost $10 in a week. So big breaks there. Maybe you'll see a little break at the gas station as well. All right, so what else do we have going on today? Well, those are kind of the major things to be thinking about. We got a long week ahead of us, but a relatively quiet week, which is what I'm excited about, right? One of the first things we always do every week and every day when we sit down, we take a look at what the economic calendar is looking like. Relatively quiet week in front of us. Nothing major planned. Not saying something major can't happen, right? What happens with this resurgence of COVID? So many things going on there. Things to keep your eyes on, but ultimately there's nothing planned. We're still in earnings. Earnings season's just getting going here. Things are ramping up. We're going to see a lot more earnings this week. That's going to have an effect on these markets as well. And we'll dive into what's going on with those earnings here as we get towards the tail end of this thing. But I say we go ahead and take a look at these charts and see what we've got going on today. Do want to say hello to everyone first. Jordan, good to see you. Bill, Brian, Tanya. Jerry is awake. How are you? Ocean, yeah, hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Not as good as hope. Well, that's just blunt of you. That's all right. Ange, good to see you. And Tanya, thanks for the defense there. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts, see what we got going on here today, and we'll go from there. Oops, I should probably hit the right button. Here we go. We're going to start with our crude oil, as always. Keep in mind, crude oil's settlement price this morning, 71.56. 71.56. We opened up this morning extremely far away from that. Now, what are you thinking? What's going through your head as this market opens up? We're seeing a little bit of a pullback. Are we going to see this market recover back towards that settlement price? Well, I'll tell you what, when I opened up my Wall Street Journal at 5 o'clock this morning and the headline is OPEC allies to boost oil output. It's a pretty bold headline on a Wall Street Journal for me to think that I'm going to see a big rally in this market after an overnight sell-off. I'm looking to continue trend. We've been in this trend now for about 4 days and continuing in the downward direction. That's what we're looking for. So instead of coming in here off the open and thinking, let's see if this thing recovers back to settlement price, we were opening up over $2 away from that settlement price. We're going to see if we can continue with that trend. So we open up, small little pullback, and that doesn't show any sign of trying to recover towards settlement price. Therefore, we're going to look at this as simply a little bit of a strength. In a downtrending market, we're looking for an opportunity to short and just run it. It's as simple as that. We're going to take that short, we're going to run it lower, and just see how far we can go. We have a $6 move. We're literally $6 off yesterday's or Friday's settlement price all the way up here right by point of control. Now, if this market does start to recover, we have unchecked point of control right here at 71.65. 71.65 unchecked point of control. The further we get away from those unchecked point of controls, the harder we're going to have to recover to them. But Nonetheless, we're going to make sure we're paying attention to this if we approach it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure we keep an eye on this thing. So we'll mark it green. We'll make it ray here. We'll save that bad boy. And that'll be something we'll keep an eye on here over the next week or so, seeing if this market does catch a little bit of a bid and looks to recover to check that point of control there. Next, let's look at the S&P 500. Just like crude oil, opened up this morning away from settlement price up at 43.18.5, 43.18.5, right at yesterday Friday's settlement price. We opened up away from it, and we were in a strong downtrend market. Headlines across the board over the last couple days have been concerns of COVID. We're going to look to continue in that trend off the open until the market is telling us it's recovering, right? What's one of the first things we want to look at every morning when the market opens up? We're watching that first couple of minutes, seeing if it's choosing that direction rather quickly. Well, just like crude oil, this market chose pretty quickly and it was sending it lower. Now, this afternoon, we caught a little bit of a bid about a half hour ago. Could be some profit taking, some short time frame people just locking in a little bit of profit there. This, to me, is not where I'm looking to make any money whatsoever. Yeah, we had good volume come in. We did find a little bit of a base here, but I'm really struggling to try and hop in and say, hey, this to me is a great opportunity to buy a downtrend market. Probability is stating it's probably not going to work for me long term, right? Over and over. Now, we had that nice little recovery here. Truthfully, I'm thinking this is just little profit taking of people taking advantage of that sell-off last night that were in this last night and continued it down throughout the regular session. Now, the NASDAQ looks a little bit different than the S&P 500. S&P 500 opened up and continued in the trend. NASDAQ, however, opened up and just stayed sideways all day long. Really nothing defined by it. All right, we tested higher. We came up towards that opening high range. This is the only place I'm looking for an opportunity pretty much throughout the day. I'm looking for the short side. I'm leaning short on this market strictly because we've been short the last couple of days. It's continuing to work, and we have concerning headlines about COVID-19. So I'm looking for those areas to be short. Here's where we finally, in my opinion, got a great opportunity. We came right into those moving averages. We talk about those a lot. Great areas to look for opportunity, whether it's moving to or away from those moving averages. This market approached the moving average, and just so you guys can see them, we got the 20 SMA as well as the 20 EMA. I don't know why it's not letting me open that one. There we go. 20 SMA and the 20 EMA moving averages. This market moved right to those, right to the point where this market opening range was. To me, great opportunity to say, hey, we're sticking range bound, we're taking a short here, and we can be extremely tight on our risk in this. And strictly, we're just looking to rotate back inside and continue working this market side to side. Range bound trades, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a couple things to line up, a couple areas to say, great opportunity, high side of a range or low side of the range. I'm going to look to take advantage of this range. I can keep my stops relatively tight, and we're just going to continue to fade those extremes. Next, let's look at the gold. Now, gold settled yesterday or Friday at 18.15 even. I do apologize, did not get my settlement prices on here. It's been a busy day. 18.15 even was Friday's settlement price. Hey, how about that? That's today's value area high. This market opened up down low. And here's the difference, right? We opened up and this market immediately changed directions. We started on the downside, opened up, and market took off to the upside. It picked that direction rather fast. And this is when we can say, all right, we're looking for reversal. Where's this thing going to go? I'll be honest with you. The first thing I'm looking at as I'm looking at Friday's value area low. If I was able to get in right away. Now, if not, value area low is our next point of entry to get in and take advantage of this trend. We can get in at that value area low, and we can be relatively tight with our stops. We're looking to see if the market accepts up above that. We'll see if we can find a little bit of area where the market's moving back, which it exactly did, move right back to value area low, gave us that chance to hop in and try and take that trade. Where are we looking to take that trade? Well, you've got point of control up here at 1812.50. So, all right, we're looking at about $250 a contract. Nice profit there. But you guys know me. I'm going to be watching, trying to see if this thing, because it's making the move towards settlement, I'm going to see if I can take advantage and get my profits up to settlement price. That's a nice $5 move, catching from value area low up to settlement price, $500 a contract. In my opinion, that's a great thing to lock in on a regular basis. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Euro, just like gold, opened up lower. We had the big move off the open. Now, same thing though, right? We saw it with the other markets, with those equity markets, with crude oil. Off the open, it never made the attempt to recover. These two markets instantly did. Instantly recovered and made that directional move. This market move rallied right up to settlement price, 118.22 even, 118.22 even, and market moved and continued right through it. We came through Friday's regular trading hour high slightly. But that's a great area, again, if you're looking for something, if you're looking for profit targets, as these markets are moving through. So to me, I'm probably not going to try and look for the reversal here. That's not my style of trade. I'm looking at that opening range, seeing it tested lower, was not accepted. Look to see this market move back towards settlement price, and this is where I'm getting in on this market. I'm seeing if I can take this right to settlement price. I'm locking in those profits. I'm calling it a day on this market. Next, let's go ahead and look at the 10-year note, and we'll get on out of here. Yields continue to dip. 10-year yield is at an 8-month low. I believe that's exactly what it is. Let me just double check before I speak at a 5-month low. 5-month low. And we've been seeing yields continue to dip. 50, 60 basis points day by day. Right now, 10-year yield, 5-month low. What do we expect when it comes to the treasuries? You should expect those treasuries to pop. And they did that. Made that direction in the overnight session. Continued on upwards throughout the entire day. Throughout the entire morning. And as we started to approach lunchtime, we stabilized. We got back into a little bit of a range. So to me, again, another market, you're looking right off the open, finding that open off the finding that opportunity off the open, and call it a day. So those are our markets here today. See some question coming in, so we'll make sure we touch on that. Vince, good to see you. Drones over Texas, how are you? Jerry, glad you're awake. Charles, 1795, 1798, good level for gold. Can we break above 1818? Hey, that'll be a good question. Dan, what news can we take from the treasuries if the yields continue lower? You know, that's a concerning thing. I don't think it's going to be so much yields moving lower. That's going to send fear, right? That's an indication of potential recession coming, right? We've heard this conversation a lot over the last couple years, that when the yields continue to dip, fear or indication of some sort of recession or correction is coming. Not saying that's what's leading to this right now. I think the Fed will start to get involved, possibly adjust interest rates. I know they keep saying nothing's happening for the next few years, but you never know. Yields continue to dip. If we get too low there, people aren't going to be wanting to borrow or lend money, right? If you're only getting paid 1% on your money, you don't really want in there. So it'll be, interesting. Right now, I think from a day trading perspective, if you see the yields dip, you're looking for those long opportunities. Not that it's 100% going to happen every time, but definitely good probability that if you're keeping an eye on those, you might find some opportunity there. All right. Kevin Lee, Tesla made a hammer daily candlestick today. Could it mean reversal? Oh, I don't know. I haven't really been paying too close to the news from Tesla lately, but I'll take a look at it, and I'll have something more to talk about on that one tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll kind of dive into Tesla, and we'll see if we can break it down a little bit. Speaking of Tesla, trading $646. This one's gotten relatively steady here. the last few weeks, kind of floating that 6 to 650 mark. Great opportunity if you're a day trader to find some opportunity within this market or within that product there. We got AMC trading $34.62, down just slightly. Our Airbnb stock, though, we're taking a little bit of hit. $131.88. And then lastly, GameStop's $173. And then before we get too far down the line, let's make sure we take a look at where Bitcoin, and I swear, I do this every time, guys. I minimize Bitcoin, I lose it. It takes me a minute to find it. Bitcoin right now, 30,705. Almost dipped below that 30,000 mark today. But it has been holding all day long, pretty much for the most part right above that 30,500. But that bubble seems to be losing a little bit of air. I'm not going to say it's bursted, but we're losing a little bit of air. All right. All right, Jerry, yes, slow down the trading a little bit there. Set a limit for yourself. Set some of those controls if that'll help. Drones over Texas, really appreciate the constant coaching y'all provide. I feel y'all definitely give me an edge. Well, I appreciate that. We're definitely here to help you guys out. So if we're not and you have questions or there's things you'd like us to dive into, don't hesitate to ask. Happy to do it. So glad we're able to help you out. And Vince, what economic releases affect gold the most? Economic policy, right? Things that are going to affect the dollar. When you think about gold, don't think about it just being as a product, right? Don't think about it as just a solid product of what's going to raise and lower the price of a product, supply and demand. But you're also thinking gold is a slight safe haven. So if there's fear economically within the stock markets that there are concerns of a stock market starting to tumble, you're going to see money moving out of the stock market. You're going to see it move to the gold. So anything that can affect that stock market and push it lower or higher on the flip side, that's going to be an economic release that's going to affect gold, hands down. So just a couple to keep in mind. CPI right now, unemployment numbers, any sort of the jobs numbers, plain and simple, will have an effect on it. PPI, retail sales, so many can have an effect on it. The ones that I pay close attention to, employment reports, CPI, jobless claims, those are going to be some of the bigger ones. GDP, those will be some of the big ones that I'll pay attention to for affecting the gold market. Speaking of economic releases, what do we got coming up tomorrow? Well, not a whole lot. Housing starts and permits will be tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Central Time, so right before John gets on. And then you got the Red Book at 7:55 a.m. Central Time. Other than that, relatively quiet day there, but we do have earnings coming in tomorrow, some bigger ones. You got Netflix coming in. We'll see how they're doing with the reopening of society a little bit. Is Netflix going to take somewhat of a hit? I don't know. You've got Chipotle and Halliburton, just to name a few. But throughout this week, there's going to be, we had IBM today. Johnson & Johnson will be on Wednesday, along with Texas Instruments, Coca-Cola, Verizon. You're going to have the NASDAQs coming out on Wednesday as well. Going into Thursday, Intel, Abbott Labs, AT&T, Twitter, Biogen. So there's going to be a ton there. And then into Friday, Honeywell, American Express, Kimberly-Clark. So those are just some of the major ones that are coming out this week. Again, every day, every afternoon, I'll make sure we touch on those so we know what's coming tomorrow, just so we have that in our sights. All right. Let's see here, Charles. Dan, will the new COVID wave outweigh the benefits of any good earnings? S&P will continue correction. It's a really great question, Charles. It just depends, honestly. I think we're kind of, and this is just personal opinion, I don't know. I don't have much to say. I think we're just kind of at a point now where we have to essentially accept these openings because economically we really need it to go see states shut down again and major cities shut down. I mean, I heard recently a stat and I'm going to fib the numbers, so I'm not even going to try and say it, but it was an astronomical something 30 more than 30% of businesses in the city of Chicago completely closed over the last year and a half, not set to ever reopen again. So another lockdown is just going to make things even more difficult. So I'm of the assumption or thought that maybe if there is some sort of resurgence, we're going to try and still keep this economy open so we can keep at least people employed and making money. But, if we see lockdowns, I think it could definitely outweigh any good earnings. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this date in history, and we'll get the heck out of here. First and foremost, this day, 1799, the Rosetta Stone was found during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. That was 1799, and I think I had one more. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. I only got the one. So on that note, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign on out. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. I look forward to seeing you guys